Welcome back guys to my weekly countdown series. This is going to be the top 10 things that I recommend you should not buy in GTA Online. I also want to give a quick shout out to everybody that I met at the recent Scottish event, so everybody in Insomnia, Resonate in Glasgow, and also everybody up in Aberdeen at 4TG. Absolutely love meeting you guys in person, so let me know down in the comments if I met you at any of those events. So without further ado, let's get into the first thing that you definitely should not buy. So first up at the number 10 spot is the RE7B. Now, since the gun running update, a lot of the vehicles in GT Online have been rebalanced, and one of the most badly affected was this vehicle, the RE7B. And according to Brofy1322's testing, this vehicle was previously the fastest supercar in the game going around a track when you take into consideration acceleration and braking around corners, which is what you do around most kind of stunt tracks. And after the gun running update, this vehicle was moved down to 11th in the whole category around a track. So as you can see, it gone from being one of the best vehicles that you could use in races to probably a vehicle that you shouldn't even own. And it's a real shame for all the people that previously bought this car because it was one of the best to use in races, because it was so expensive. I think it's around 2.5 million, which is a ton of money. And I can imagine there's even some people out there who bought shark cards just to purchase this vehicle, which has now been unfortunately rendered worthless. So for that reason, I believe you should never buy this vehicle. At the number 9 spot is the Technical Custom. This was recently added with a continuation of the gun running update, and you first of all have to buy the technical from the website, which I believe is nearly $1 million, and then you have to take it to an MOC to be converted into a Technical Custom for another 142k. You'll then also have to spend a considerable amount of time and money into getting the upgrades for this vehicle with your bunker. And for all that effort, it's a below average vehicle. You know, the armor upgrades do next to nothing to protect you, you can quite easily still be shot through the windows. Even the bull bars that can be put on the front don't even help you ram other players off the road. They're basically just a cosmetic thing in the front of your vehicle, which is really weird. And if you're playing as a solo player, you can't even shoot out of the vehicle with the highest armor upgrade. So if you don't have a friend in the gunner seat, you're basically just a sitting duck. So yeah, definitely don't waste your time getting this vehicle. At the number 8 spot are STILT houses. So unless you're absolutely loaded in GT Online, you know, go ahead, buy a STILT home, why not? But for most of us who are on a budget, I'd recommend staying well clear of these apartments, anything basically on a stilt. And for a variety of reasons. First of all, there's no garage access from the apartment, meaning you get 2 loading screens to go there. And then there's the heist room that's downstairs, a little bit inconvenient. And also the location of these stilt houses are just a bit of a pain to get to. They're a bit far away from everything. And even if you're flying a buzzard to them, it's going to be really difficult for you to land around there. You know, you're basically forced to land somewhere in the middle of a narrow road or in a high likelihood of getting hit by an NPC vehicle. They're just probably some of the most expensive and worst properties that you can own in GT Online. At the number 7 spot is the Maze Bank Tower office. Now, when these offices were first released, you had some major bragging rights saying you owned this one, since it was the most expensive office on offer, around $4 million. However, from a cost perspective, it's probably one of the economically worst that you can purchase. In fact, the only good thing about this office is the fact it has a central location. However, the Maze Bank West office actually costs a quarter of the price at only $1 million, and in my opinion is overall a much better office. And you'll find out quite quickly when you start operating your business, you're most likely going to be flying in and out on a buzzard, and the Maze Bank obviously has such a high helipad, you're going to have to spend quite a while moving up there, whereas the smaller offices are actually much easier to fly on top of and just use the shortcut to get inside. So if you've already bought an office, don't waste your money on the most expensive office with a super inconvenient landing pad. Get one of the cheaper ones that have a much easier landing pad to get to, and they're just generally much more cost effective. Moving on to the number 6 spot, and while we're on the topic of offices, the Money Safe is an optional extra you can add to your CEO office for $335,000. Now, I guess the gun locker is quite a good addition because it lets you actually customize your weapon wheel. It has some sort of functional use. However, the Money Safe, I'm still not really sure what the purpose of this safe is. It basically is just a purely cosmetic feature in your office. And the crazy thing is as you earn money as a CEO, your office floor will actually start accumulating and piling up with money. As you can see, mine doesn't even have that much. If you do it for quite a while, you will get money all over your floor. And having the safe doesn't even clean it up for you. So It's just such a weird, completely useless purchase. The only good thing about the safe is the fact that it's hidden in your wall and people won't actually know that you've wasted your money on buying it like I have. At the number 5 spot is the Titan. Now this point actually applies to both the Luxor plane and the Titan, but both of these vehicles actually spawn for free in GTA Online. They can be found at certain spawn points at the airport, which is funny because even if you go ahead and buy these things, you'll still have to go to the airport to pick it up at the Pegasus location. So you might as well save yourself the $2 million and just collect it at the free spawn points. At the number 4 spot are most of the MC businesses. Now when you have a biker clubhouse, you have the choice to buy 5 different businesses. However, 4 of them are just not worth buying at all. You know, they're just basically completely worthless and not even worth your money investing into. I've made quite a few money making guides on the only MC business you should consider, which is basically the Coke lockup. It has the highest profitability per hour. And even then, you should only buy this with caution because, you know, these businesses have a very high setup cost, especially with the upgrades. They're going to cost you over $1 million extra, and it's going to take you countless hours to break even on these businesses. So unless you're prepared to play GT Online, a lot of the time, the Coke business might not even be worth it at all. But yeah, the other 4 MC business types just aren't worth investing into at all, particularly the document forgery one. That one is just absolutely worthless. At the number 3 spot is having multiple gun lockers. Now I do recommend you have at least one gun locker as they can be quite handy. You know, they let you customize your weapon wheel, meaning that you can clean out all the weapons you don't use. You don't have to scroll through all of those pistols that you've bought. However, you only need to have one of these gun lockers. Now the CEO office, the MC clubhouse and the bunker all offer you these gun lockers as optional extras, so it's definitely not worth it to buy it in every property. You only just need to own it in one to actually use it. In the CEO office it costs $520,000, $320,000 in the clubhouse, and in the bunker it's quite a reasonable $175,000. So if you haven't already grabbed one, the bunker is by far the cheapest place that you can get yourself a gun locker. At the number 2 spot is the dump truck. Now I included this vehicle within my top 10 most useless vehicles, and I'm including it again here just because of how horrible it is. This thing is slow, it's weak, and just all around horrible, and for the price of $1 million. This is just basically a daylight robbery selling this thing. So if you haven't got the point already, do not buy the dump truck, guys. And that leaves me with the number 1 thing that you should not buy in GT Online, and that is shark cards. I'm actually just kidding on that one. Well, kind of. At the real number 1 spot is the yacht. Now I feel like a bit of a hypocrite here because I actually bought a yacht when it was on sale. However, even on sale these things are going to set you back millions of dollars and you're just not going to use it, guys. It does seem like quite a luxury thing that you might want to spend some time on. However, the yacht is basically just an apartment in the middle of nowhere, and I haven't set this as my spawn point in over a year just because it's so far away from everything else that you do in GT Online. You know, most of the businesses are in the city, and you know, having a yacht only opens up some VIP work called piracy prevention, where you basically have to hold down your yacht from a bunch of attackers. But even this has a 10-minute cooldown, so it's not really even worth adding this into your money making routine. And for that reason, that's why the yacht gets my number 1 spot in my do not buy list. So that is the top 10 things that you should not buy in GT Online. Let me know in the comments, do you agree with my list, or is there anything I missed out? Is there anything that you've bought that you would recommend for nobody else to buy? Don't forget to leave the video a like if you did enjoy, it really helps support this countdown series. And subscribe so you don't miss out on the next countdown. I do one of these every single weekend. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Flipping cars, I did the scene. Flipping heist, yeah, with the team. You know me, got the antidote. I spit it sick up in Los Santos. Dodging missiles, dodging bullets. Coming at me now, tell me to pull it. I'm a